Hi, everybody. It's Shelley Hoffman, and I'm back with our mayor for the weekly update of what's been happening going on in the village of Baldwinsville. And, we've been doing this all summer, Mayor. We're now into the fall, and there's always something happening in the village, which is awesome. So,
Yeah,
how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm getting a little tired of the routine, but we find ways to perk ourselves up. And it's been I've had a good summer as far as my garden, which has been one of the things that's helped me get through. We didn't have a great year with zucchini, but I would say every 3 days I go out and I get literally a handful of green beans
Oh,
like
wow.
this, and then my wife cuts them up, puts them in freezer bags, and so in January we'll be popping out somewhat fresh green beans. We know where they came from. We had a pretty good year with tomatoes. She's made quite a bit of sauce, so and we still have some. I was out the last couple nights covering up plants with tarps and blankets and stuff to try to save the tomato plants, and hopefully we'll get another small half a bushel type thing of tomatoes. They are starting to die off, but um, it's one of the things I get out there and you kind of forget everything else that's going on. You hear the birds chirping and the blue sky. It's been a nice release for me to not be thinking about what's going on. And Linda does a great job with flowers. So we have flowers all over the yard, hanging plants, back deck, front porch, by the mailbox. We have flowers everywhere. And she set up a fall display yesterday with mums and pumpkins. And so, you look at that stuff, it's sort of, I guess it sort of feels normal and it's nice.
Yeah.
And it's, for me, that's a good one. One of the things I just happened to see on email today, the chamber sent it, but it's not a chamber event. It's the CNY Reader's Choice Awards.
Yep.
And it says this is the first time they've ever done it. And maybe Advanced Media is doing it for the first time. But we won an award like this, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago for the best outdoor venue for concerts. Paper Mill Island did. So Greg and I went down to Armory Square to a dinner ceremony, and we have a plaque. I think it's on display in the lobby at Village Hall. People in the area voted for Paper Mill Island as the best outdoor venue. There's 120 categories, so I'm guessing it comes right down to, the best plates that you can eat on anywhere, the best silverware. I don't know how you come up with 120 categories, but it must be, I'm assuming it's music and concerts and food and drink and best bartender and the best, kind of fun stuff. As I say, to
Yeah.
kind of take your mind off the humdrum of what's going on. The big thing is that businesses, particularly, and we've got several businesses I think that would want to be included, have to register. I'll post this thing on our village Facebook site. They may have already received this anyways, but at some point, probably what people will see is on Facebook somewhere will be a voting thing. And so you'll go down and there'll be a category and there'll be 4 choices and you vote for one of them. And it'll take you 15 or 20 minutes to go through because they'll, the best shoehorn at a store,
Right.
there's a lot of stuff and you don't have to vote for everything and you can go in and vote for the ones you like. So I'm guessing that our pizza places, some of them will be nominate themselves, I hope. Where do you get the best burger? Those kind of things.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of fun and it'd be nice to support our local businesses. And it's kind of exciting. This one more thing for people to, they can argue about it on Facebook. They can talk about it. They can have fun with it. So again, I'll put this on our Facebook site and just encourage people to get involved.
Right.
We are very busy. It's that time of the year where brush is just about to pick up even more because the leaves are going to start to fall. People are going to start pulling up, their geraniums and marigolds and start throwing them out at the road. So Chuck McAuliffe is on duty and ready to make sure that all of our stuff goes just as it went before Steve resigned. We are in the process of coming up with a job description and setting up, looking for a new engineer. Steve is still on the payroll till late October.
Okay.
That was because he had vacation time. So we do have the luxury of his expertise if we need to make a phone call. We also signed up with Plumley for engineering services, and Steve has signed up with us if we need help outside of the work hours. So we are covered. So we'll be looking for, it's an engineer / supervisor of public works position. We're also going to be looking for a treasurer. Anna has given us a year to try to replace her, which will probably take that long because that's a very important job. And it's unlike typical bookkeeping. There are laws that require how you write a certain check, money for certain things have to go through one way. And so we're hoping we can find a treasurer that could be around to work with Anna for, several months before she officially retires. We are in the process of hiring somebody to replace a vacant water department position. But everything is working right along. Talked to Chuck yesterday. Been working on electrical stuff at Canton Woods for the pumps, upgrading some of that. I know we need to do some work at the Doan Well, which is out on 370, out towards the Reeves Stand, out that way. So what we would do is upgrade we have 3 or 4 wells out there, and we'll upgrade one of them, the pump and all that type of stuff. So that it's part of the process that has been going on since I've been mayor. But Steve's thinking was, we need to upgrade our equipment and make sure our buildings are up to speed and that type of stuff. So we've been doing that regularly, and this is all part of the upgrade. We are getting ready for plow season. They're getting the plows ready, the trucks ready, and with that, people may have noticed during brush pickup yesterday that we have a new big truck that we've had it actually for quite a while. And like many people who bought new vehicles, had trouble getting it registered. And finally, we got somebody to issue us paper plates because I don't know what has happened, whether the state stopped having plates made or whether I don't know where all the snafu came in, but we now have that registered, and it was on the road yesterday, and that was nice to see. And we'd like to keep our fleet. Yep.
Exactly. Can I ask you a question about, you talked about plowing because that's going to start. What about sidewalks? People ask me a lot of times in my business, what sidewalks do you maintain, if any, in the village?
We do the business district. We do the business. Okay. The theory being that in your tax money, you pay for brush pickup. That's one of your good things that you get from paying your taxes. Businesses don't have any brush. So the theory was twofold. They get something for their money, and they don't have brush pickup, but they get snow clearing. And it's good for us that our business district is maintained. Anything we can do to help businesses make it a little bit easier, we'll do. So that's the reason that the downtown area gets plowed. Some communities do all the sidewalks in their villages. I think we probably have more sidewalk than a lot of places do. Some of the villages that are in the county are geographically smaller. They don't have as much space, and we've put in so many sidewalks from like one end of the village to the other. I don't know if we could ever get them all done in a day after a storm. We probably would have to hire a couple people, and then that would probably mean taxes go up, and we're at a point where we've been trying to keep control of taxes. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It would be very nice if we could do everybody's sidewalk. And we are pretty lenient with people as far as if you have 24 hours after a storm event to get your sidewalk clean. So if you have a service that does it and they get backed up, we're not going to come stampeding in and cite you for not getting it done the very first morning after the snowstorm. But we would hope that eventually that would get taken care of. And then people have said, well, what about some of our older folks? Well, from what I see and what I hear, people in our village are pretty good as far as if there's an older person living next door and they're doing their sidewalk, well, they'll just continue on and do their neighbor. I know neighbors that do the whole block. People enjoy, they really enjoy the snow blowing, but they also enjoy doing things for other people. And so we hope that type of stuff continues. And we hear that every time we do put in new sidewalks. Now I'm going to be responsible for cleaning it. It's like,
Right.
yes, but you've upgraded your property significantly with a sidewalk. I mean, you being in real estate, I would think in a village particularly, to know that when your kids go out to ride a bicycle, they don't have to go on the road to learn to ride the bike. There's a sidewalk up and down the street. Older folks have a place to walk. So there's a lot of pluses, and yeah, you have to get your sidewalk clear, but there are ways to get that done. And let's see. Somebody mentioned the other day, wow, it must be crazy having these Zoom meetings because you don't get to see the public at the meetings and stuff. And so I will repeat what I have said before. We are having more people watching the meetings via Facebook and our live feed than ever came to our meetings. And I understand that, particularly the summertime, you're busy, and maybe at 7:40 you flip on and go watch a little bit of the meeting just to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Wintertime, it's dark at 5:00. People don't want to be out and come to a meeting that might last 10 minutes and have nothing on it that they're interested in, but they would turn on Facebook and have that on while they're watching the TV.
I can second that. I had a couple people tell me that they've recently watched the village Zoom meetings, and I found myself scrolling through Facebook. I told you a lot of times, we talked about this before with virtual events before, and I have it listening onto the side. So I actually knew about Plumley Engineering, and I knew about Steve being able to help because I listened to the village board meeting. So I concur with you. I think I've never been to one. I wasn't living in the village pre-COVID, but I didn't go to the town meetings. So I agree. I think you get more people paying attention because it's accessible through Facebook, which most people are on. Not everybody, but most.
And that's something that I will look into when we go back to in-person meetings, is finding a way to, maybe set up a camera in the corner of the room. It might not be a perfect picture because everybody will be, you'll have everybody there in the same screen, but at least you hear the discussion. Because I think people really seem to enjoy it. I get comments from people, I was interested to hear that, you did this, or that you're going to replace that. And we get more coverage from the newspaper, the Eagle newspaper. Ashley Casey and others before her had covered us, and they covered us okay. I mean, there was a lot of meetings where if they came, I'm sure it would have been a struggle to come up with a real story, because it was, we approved an insurance contract, we approved a stormwater study that we had done, and people would go, where's the story? And
Right.
most of the time in those, it's standard stuff, and we have a lot of those meetings. But Phil Blackwell, who is their sports reporter for Eagle newspapers, has covered almost every one of our Zoom meetings since we went to it, and he's had a story off of every meeting, because since the Zoom meetings, really we've had stuff. I mean, we're talking about how we're going to handle the COVID, and we've now had a engineer resign. We've had other things go on, and it's. I think it's, as a former newspaper person, I think it's terrific that people are seeing what's happening at our meetings, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's in the newspaper. I don't shy away from people seeing us. We don't do anything at our meetings that I'm ashamed of or embarrassed of. I mean, I think we run good meetings. We have a good board. So I think there's some pluses from that side of it. And I think it will carry on when we go back to what we would consider, the normal approach to looking at a way to get the meetings on live. It includes a lot more people. So,
yeah.
Let me see. Police chief asked me to remind everybody to lock their doors.
I knew that was coming.
You know,
And it's not funny. It's not funny. There's just, between us every week, Chief Laffencheck says it. And for those of you that, are friends with me on social media or other people, and I watched the village board meeting and it was brought up at the village board meeting. And that night it was on a lot of your social media pages to lock the door. That's why I giggled, because I said, boy, it sounds like a lot of people are talking like Chief Laffencheck tonight. And now I know why they were talking like.
and I saw the chief said, is it wrong to sound like me? And it's good that we can joke because we haven't been hit. And, I haven't heard of too many people that I know that I do know. I didn't realize I knew the person who had their keys taken out of their vehicle. But there was a report the other day of crazy stuff going on, and the Cicero police said, no, we've had a few unlocked cars get broken into, and that's all that's going on in our town. And please lock your doors. The sheriff's department posted a thing the other night. Please lock your vehicles. I mean, everybody's on this. It's obviously hitting all parts of the county and outside the county. And I think we did have an arrest from some incident in Baldwinsville. Not a person from Baldwinsville, coming in from outside. And you're just asking for trouble. I mean, and I know it's hard for people. Again, we go back to the old ages where, the Clarks didn't lock their doors, their house doors. The Clarks do now. This family of Clarks, although last night I got ready to go to bed about 12:30 and I realized the garage door was still open.
Well, I'm the same. I now take my keys out of my car because I was guilty of that. I'd leave my keys. I was used to parking in a garage most of my life. So now my car's outside. So I remember my key. I do remember to lock it, but I have that voice now in my head saying, did you lock the door? What I find myself in the morning is walking out to my car. I have my bag. I have my coffee. I open my car door and it's locked. I put everything down, go back in my house to get my key. Right. And that's a habit that will eventually go away too. We have to form that habit of locking our doors. And then I have to form the habit of remembering my keys in the morning to unlock my door. But
yeah, Greg Humphrey had a post. He reacted to whether I had said something or whether the chief did, but Greg responded saying, it's nice to have your keys on your nightstand, because if you hear some noises that you don't like, you can click your car alarm and your alarm starts sounding. It might scare away like 98% of the people who would be in your yard or around your house. And I used to leave mine on the stairs, downstairs, so that in the morning when I got ready to go, the keys were right there. And my wife said, if anybody ever got in, the keys would be right in front of them. And so now they're on the nightstand and available if I need to sound the alarm. Fortunately, we haven't had that problem. And but never say never.
No.
Let's see if I have what else I have here. Speaking of my wife, she's pretty well set the calendar up page by page. She's kind of waiting now to get a publisher. They have sales so that she can get the price to print it cheaper so that she can keep the price that she sells it to people the same. And this benefits Canton Woods. A lot of great pictures. We have some terrific photographers in the village, and I think most of them do it on their phone. But some great pictures of sunsets and the dam and the canal and just eagles and owls and all kinds of stuff. And it was very difficult for her to go through and say, well, I'm going to take this one over that one because this person's probably going to be brokenhearted. But a lot of great, and she tried to get a broad cross section of people, so that almost everybody who sent in a picture got some representation. So hopefully that will be something that will be in the works and available soon. She will be looking for volunteers that maybe could do something like help, pass the word around that's going on, or pick up a load of calendars and drop them off at people's houses or businesses or however it's going to work. So if anybody's interested, can contact me, or my wife is on Facebook, Linda Nojaim Clarke, and then I think there's a Baldwinsville calendar page that you can
There
go
on Facebook, there is,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's the best place to go, is the Baldwinsville calendar page. And just let her know you'd be interested in volunteering. It might be one time, 10 calendars to drop off at different places. And if any of the businesses would be willing to have them either cash registers and that type of stuff, contact her. Last year we did very well. It was kind of a last minute decision, and she really worked hard to get it together and had to keep ordering reprints because she had like 4 left and think, okay, we're all set now. We'll get rid of these 4. And then all of a sudden she started getting flooded with people from out of town. Just so people know, this is a great gift. If you've got family members in another part of the country and you send Christmas gifts, I mean, if you have somebody that loves Baldwinsville, boy, it's nice all year long to have pictures of your hometown and, at its best. I mean, pictures of the parade of lights, the Christmas tree, the Beeville Diner, places like that are represented in, different pictures. And it's a nice thing. And I know people that we had somebody bought a dozen. Somebody else, an old friend of mine lives in Texas, bought 6 of them and then sent them all to all his brothers and sisters. So it's kind of an easy way to come up with a Christmas present. So look at the Baldwinsville calendar page for more information. My wife would be happy to let you know what's going on. The senior center is quite busy. They are trying to get a lot of things in before the weather turns, and that's a concern.
Right.
We are working to see if there's any possibility that we can get people inside the building. Like if it's a group of 6 people, maybe they can meet in that great big room and spread everybody out and that type of stuff. So I've got to call into the county to see what could happen there. I did get a message to call. I was a little busy this morning getting ready for this. And so as soon as I get off, I got to do that. And I got to go pick up my food cents. Today's food cents pickup at Canton Woods. So if you want to do it next month and you didn't do it this month, call Canton Woods and find out about it. The Walk for the Woods is still ongoing. I will drop off my registration when I go pick up my food cents. If anybody would like to support the senior center, I'm not going around asking people for money, but if you can just send it directly to the senior center. If you want to get it to me, fine. My sister Cindy is doing this. I've asked people to donate to her, so that rather than go through me, just because I don't like people to think I'm strong-arming people. But Ruth, in advance, is thanking everybody who has supported the Walk for the Woods. It's one of their big fundraisers, and they can use the outside support. So they've been doing fall prevention classes, which are a huge asset to some of our seniors. I think they had 6 or 7 people on yesterday outside. Julie Hall does it. So if you want to reserve a spot or you need more information, again, 638-4536, the senior center. And if you have an older relative who's a little unsteady right now, this is a great one for a little bit of muscle coordination type stuff, a little bit of strength just by moving muscles you don't normally move. And maybe it's a little bit of awareness of the fact when you bend over at a certain age, you may not come up as easy as you'd like to, and you end up on the floor. And usually that's not good when you're advanced ages. So that's a great one. Reminder, October 5th, 4:00 down memory lane with moi and the First Lady. I will have a Zoom thing set up for next week. It'll be available at Canton Woods. I'll also post it on our Facebook site. And it's a nice chance for people who are kind of cooped up, but who have access to getting online like that, doing a Zoom call. Not everybody knows how to do that. And I know a lot of the seniors, it seems very high tech and really isn't when you think about it. I mean, if you have a cell phone, you can do it. If you have a laptop with a camera on it, you can do it. You kind of click on it and it takes you right to the Zoom thing. And people at Canton Woods will help them if they don't understand how to set up. And it was fun last year, and I'm looking forward to it. Again, the Peace Lunch is now going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting the the first full week in October. So you can get meals Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, just like you could when you used to go to the center. It'll still be pickup. You still have to call ahead of time to get on the list. But they're nutritional lunches, not overly high calorie, because seniors are not burning a lot of calories, but it's usually vegetable, fruit, a meat, a carb type thing. So they do have an outdoor concert scheduled for October 8th. Ruth is an optimist. Joni's an optimist. I don't know what October 8th is going to hold, but it's George Leia's coming back. They wear a mask, bring your chair, bring a blanket. That I added that.
I was thinking of a snowsuit. We do have a question, Mayor. When did the fall classes start, or when do they start?
They have started.
They have started. They mentioned that it wasn't in the newsletter, and again, I'm just reiterating what one of our viewers have asked. But if they still sign up for them, can they still be a part of them? Okay.
It's Tuesdays and Thursdays, so there'll be one tomorrow morning. It's supposed to be in the 70s tomorrow, so it'd be a nice day to be outside.
Yes.
So call Ruth or Joni or whoever at the senior center and get yourself signed up. And I think it'd be worth your while taking a few minutes to get signed up for that. The art group still meeting October 6th and October 20th in the pavilion, weather permitting. So if you're an art person and you haven't joined that group before, October 6th and 20th at 11 o'clock. Mike Conway's the teacher. Call Canton Woods to find out more information. Everything, all these things, call the office at Canton Woods, and they have the direct line to the people who are running, like the Canton Woods Book Club, which is October 20th at 2 o'clock in the gazebo. And the book of the month is Beneath the Scarlet Sky by Mark Sullivan. So if you want to get the book and read it, and then go and be able to talk about it. Kind of fun. I mean, I'm a big reader, and I love being able to talk about the books I read to people. I mean, I read cross-section of books. Mostly I like David Baldacci and John Grisham and people like that. But I have had people introduce me to some books I never thought I would read. I can't think of the one I just read. Oh gosh, my sister mentioned it, and I read it. It was one of the best books I ever read. Down in the Everglades, and there's a big seller, and right on my brain, can't remember.
Well, maybe if she's watching, she'll type it in the comments, and at least people on Facebook will know what the book is.
Yes, there you go. It's a little girl who ends up all alone. Her mom leaves, and then the dad. I don't know if the dad dies or leaves, but she's stuck in this house that's out in the middle of nowhere. Not too far from the ocean, but in the swamp, and she talks to the flowers and she talks to the birds, and then starts to move out a little bit and meets a boy, and it's how she survived. Nobody knows she's alone, that she's living alone. They think somebody's there with her, and really a terrific book. Kind of surprised me, the ending, which I like. Nancy Sullivan, our neighborhood advisor, outreach worker, is available for help with HEAP and anything else you need help with. So call the center. Currently, she's meeting outside. Ruth Troy is talking about trying, if it's okay with the county, which I'll find out hopefully today, to at least bring people into the building, and they'll have, the screen up, the glass screen, so they'd be on opposite sides and 10 feet apart and 12 feet apart, whatever. And so they can deal with people's issues. There's nothing worse than particularly for older people, than to not have anybody to talk to about issues. And Nancy's great, and just call her and set up an appointment. Some things she probably can do by phone. And she's been meeting with a lot of people. And she's the one, I think you might remember way back, she had taken home the list of all the people who go to Canton Woods, and we started at the top of the list and just started calling everybody. How are you doing?
Okay.
So again, what we've talked about a lot, I got goosebumps now thinking about how people in this village, this community are so good to others. Pam Milak, I think it is, stopped over the other day. Linda had some plants that she had repotted and she was giving them away. And so Pam said, I'll take them. So she stopped over and we were talking a little bit about, Baldwinsville, helping Baldwinsville. And I said, yeah, I don't even know how many people got helped. It doesn't really matter. But I think just the story that ran in the messenger to say there's somebody out there that will help you if you need anything.
Yeah.
Even if you don't need help, imagine how you feel. You don't sit there and wonder, what do I do if my furnace starts to act? What do I do if I run out of food? Look, there is something. I may never need it, but it's nice to know it's there. And I commended her for just having the ability to do something like that. And so just another one of the people who help make the community better.
Absolutely.
And Lorraine Melita, our librarian, has added new titles to the library. If you have a particular author or a type of book, she will help see if they have it, and she'll set up a time when you can come and pick it up and reserve it. Where the Crawdads Sing, I think, is the name of the book. And if you haven't read that book, it's a great book. And it's, some guys might say, it's about a little 12-year-old girl, not my cup of tea. But I also read one about a family that went up into Alaska, and she was stuck with an abusive father with, post-traumatic stress disorder type thing. And they lived in the middle of nowhere in Alaska. And it was all about how she survived. What a great book. So sometimes you got to get outside your comfort zone. Yeah. And you hear somebody talk about a good book. And that was one of those books I couldn't put it down. So that's it with the senior center. If there's anything you need and you're a senior, don't sit around and fret and stew. Call a senior center. You're going to get a friendly voice. Somebody's going to help you. The work on the senior center is progressing. There was a little glitch in the floor, and they had to bring up some of the vinyl and do some grinding. I think that's done. And the company that's going to put in the divider door is ready to put that in. So hopefully in the next 10 days or so, the senior center that main room work will be done. And all that's left is painting. I think our highway guys will probably, once the brush pickup slows down, which, once they get past Halloween into November, it starts to quiet down a little bit, and they usually haven't had too much snow yet. And so a couple of our highway guys may go over there and do the painting, so that when we finally get people back in, it'll be like a whole new center of that part of the building. So I know Ruth is excited. I'm excited. Hopefully it will be what, when people walk in, it'll be a nice tonic for them to see, geez, they still think about us as seniors as being worth doing something for. So any questions from you? Any other questions from anybody watching?
No, I don't think so. You did get a good morning and a nice talk from one of the residents. So that was nice. You can see that after we disconnect, I guess, if you go through the comments. But no, that was pretty much it. As far as that, I had the sidewalk question, just because with the kids walking, I think it made people start thinking, about the sidewalk, seeing the kids going. I don't know, because I'm new to the area for the walking, but they said they felt like there was more kids walking. Maybe parents didn't want the kids on the bus or something like that, or so dropping off and, maybe dropping off close to school and walking in. I'm not sure if that's happening or not, but they just said they were looking at the kids and they felt like it was more kids actually walking. The kids are going 3 days and 3 days, which so it's actually half the kids and half the kids. So I don't know how they could think it was more kids because it's half of our kids, but there's a lot of kids that walk past my house going to school, and it's nice to see, beautiful skies, kids out, book pack, the backpacks on, they're wearing their masks, and no, there's no big groups walking together. I don't see. It's kind of siblings or maybe, one or two kids that probably hung out together, still being together. But But it's been nice to see the kids
Maybe-
going to school.
Maybe less kids riding with people, you know, I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, I knew our grandkids couldn't wait till the day that one of their friends had their license and could pick them up and they didn't have to ride the bus anymore. But some parents may be looking at that as, that's just one more place that you're going to be close to somebody. And why don't you walk to school? It's only 4 blocks. And
Yeah.
and the weather's been terrific. So
Yeah.
you know, it may stop when it starts getting cold or rainy. People might say, you know, I'm not walking anymore. And it seems like for the most part, it's working pretty good here in Beeville. I know we had a problem at Van Buren and one at Durgee.
Yeah.
But maybe that will be a good eye opener for people that we, you know, if somebody in your family, if your kid is not feeling well, keep them home. We don't want this to shut down the whole school. It's, you know, I haven't heard a whole lot of problems countywide. I mean, it's kind of good. I mean, I know numbers are up a little bit generally. I know Syracuse seems to have been doing a great job of being on top of things. We have grandchildren in Oswego and Oneonta, and both of them had shut down in-person teaching. So it's going to be a weird cycle here. I know the sports stuff keeps jumping around, but I mean, Syracuse hasn't played very well, but it's been a nice release to be watching football, you know, on Saturdays. And, you know, I watch the Yankees and their game, you know, they're fun because they're competitive and getting ready for the playoffs. It's nice. Those distractions are great. I mean, and so I would just say to anybody out there that has a question around the village, don't hesitate. Call Village Hall 635-3521, and I'll call you back if I'm not around. Everybody is still operating. I mentioned it at the board meeting the other night that I'm very proud of our village, that we never, you know, our clerk's office, our code office, our DPW office, the senior center, we didn't miss a day. There was never a time when you could call. You might have to leave a message because somebody, you know, I mean, they're not sitting at the phone every minute, but they get back to you in a half hour. And I quite honestly did not get one single call from anybody saying I had a problem and I couldn't get a hold of somebody. So that's a pretty good feeling. And the courts would have done the same thing, except the state told them shut down completely. So, but they've been out ever since they were told they can come back in. We've had one of the 2 court clerks in the office every day. And according to them, things are still going well. Nothing's changed. It's still just criminal activity, tickets and that type of stuff. And call if you have a question. Go on their website, the village website under the courts. If there are some things clarified there. I just am really pleased at how well people have responded, and understanding that the little things they do for people make a huge difference at a time when people are a little uncertain about what's going on. And I mean, hats off to you. I think the stuff that you do and PAC-B does, again, our community is probably the most informed community in central New York. People know what's going on with our police department, with our 2 towns, with the village. And then you've had other people. I watch the different things that people you've talked to, you know, Meg Van Patten from the library and stuff like that. People can't complain that they didn't know how to do something or who to talk to or where to go. Particularly you, but other people have been pretty good about making sure that's up. Hats off. Thank you so much. You've made our job.
And like I said, it's fun. I like to get the information myself and spread it to other people. You know what I did want to mention real quick before we parted was that the Fab Fest is going on in Baldwinsville.
And I had that on my list and I went right by it.
Yeah, it started on the 22nd yesterday, and then it goes to the 27th. So if you go to their Facebook page, it's from the Greater Baldwinsville Chamber of Commerce, but if you go to their Facebook page or their website, the information's there. But I think that's great. It's a safe way to get out because you don't have to eat in the restaurant. You can get takeout. You can get it delivered to your home. You just need to take, you know, a picture that says you have the food there with something and hashtag the appropriate hashtags in there, like Bevo Fab Fest in the chamber. But my daughter and I actually ordered food yesterday, and we ordered it from one of our favorite places in the village, which is a Chinese location. They are not participating, but when we got to the house, I said, "Oh, that did start." But I got to tell you, the Chinese food was really good. So still glad I got it.
I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I was talking about, the Mexican, was supposed to be a Mexican restaurant opening down where Muddy Waters. Well, they came in for a waiver of the 30-day wait on their liquor license. And I said, "Oh, I know, I have friends who love Mexican food, so they'll be so excited to hear that." And I said, I like Mexican food. I like ethnic food. I like all food. It's kind of hard to narrow it down. But I mean, my wife is her grandparents on her father's side are from Lebanon, Syria area. And so when we first got married, I mean, I got introduced to Lebanese food, which is not too far from Greek food, but there are some differences, different kinds of spices and stuff. Okay,
I heard. I did hear. Yes.
But I said I love German food. I love Italian food. I love Japanese food. I mean,
Lebanese best though.
Lebanese is the best. I have to. Here's the first. Like, you gonna say hi to yourself.
So bad.
But we're lucky. We have a lot of great places to eat in the village.
We do.
You're off Facebook, right?
No.
No.
She didn't know we were live.
Oh, shit.
So we have our topics popping
up. Just can't control them.
No.
I ran across the Academy Awards that year. When you're live, you get constantly corrected on how I should have the room set up for the background.
Oh my goodness. So, well, I tell you all the time, I enjoy talking to you, but I like when Linda crashes too. It's kind of fun, the first lady.
She keeps me grounded, believe me. We were working on another puzzle last night. We sit at the table, we have the TV on, and I had the Yankee game for a while. Then I forget what we even watched. We watched one of our regulars. America's Got Talent. And so last night was the final performances, and we've been watching it pretty regularly. And but we're doing puzzle while we're watching and listening, and we just kind of keep busy, rather than just sit. And so I hope people are trying to find innovative ways to get through all this. I'm fortunate. I have a wife who's like a kid, and she likes to play with puzzles and all that kind of stuff. And she's a good cook, and so yesterday we were getting the beans ready, and she, working outside. It's been nice. I'm really not looking forward to bad weather, because that takes away one of our resources. So
you enjoy.
So I'll have a good week. I got to go pick up Food Sense, and I got to make a couple phone calls, business wise, and going to be a busy day.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Mayor. Talk to you next week.
You bet, Shelley. Bye-bye.